Hi guys, and welcome back to class. So here you're going to see a phrase that says iron youth. I want to know one reason why Kantrick might have referred to Paul and his friends as the iron youth. This is going to be in chapter 1. You need to find when he referred to Paul and his friends as the iron youth. Then I want to ask you, when does the novel take place and where does the novel take place? You can use these sentence stems to answer the question. The novel takes place. The novel is set in. Looking at our focusing and content question, we're still going to be doing some work on organizing what's happening in All Quiet on the Western Front. We're going to be adding our craft question where we are going to be examining why our broad categories are important. So let's go ahead and look at these vocabulary words. We have protrude, embittered, and indifferent. Please add these to your vocabulary journals. I now want you guys to read aloud chapter 2 from It Is Strange to Think That at Home to With It Goes Hot Tea and Rum. And when you see something that is from the past, I want you to write past. You can do this inside of your journals for those of you who are online. So you may want to write the word P and then write what is it that they're referring to when they talk about the past. And this would be like a memory or a flashback. Or you would put PR for present. What happens in chapter 2? Now you guys are going to plot the sequence of events that led up to and immediately follow the enlistment of Paul and his friends. You will use this timeline to analyze the transition of Paul and his friends make from being students to becoming soldiers. So basically you guys are going to be creating a timeline of events that are going to explain why Paul and his friends went from students to soldiers. And I want you guys to think to yourself, where would a timeline about Paul and his friends begin? Where would it end based on the novel so far? You can use your status reports to help you out with this activity. So for example, you could have a timeline written out like this with the information by it. Create a timeline of Paul and his friends' experiences as they happen in the book with bullet points. So based on the information in your timelines, is Iron Youth an appropriate nickname for Paul and his friends? Why or why not? In order to answer this question, guys, you're going to need to know why Kantrick called them the Iron Youth. And then let me know if that is an appropriate name for Paul and his friends. You'll share this out in the discussion board. Then we're going to discuss the following questions. You'll share these out in the Schoology discussion board. Comradeship means friendship based on shared or group activities or interest. Why does the experience of the Iron Youth result in comradeship? How is the experience of the Iron Youth different than that of older men's experience? And how do words like melancholy, embittered, and indifferent help you understand what life at war was like for the Iron Youth? How does the Iron Youth's perspective about life change once they've been enlisted into the war? You'll do this in your response journal. For your craft question, we are going to examine why are broad categories important. To do this, we are going to be using handout 8A, Broad Category Organization. That is this document here. You're going to read the examples below and answer the following questions. So here you're going to have an example, and then you're going to have another example. And you'll see these questions up underneath. Then think to yourself, why might it be important to organize writing using a broad category? What 2 activities have you been using to organize information from the novel so far? What 2 activities have we been doing to organize the information that we've been getting from the novel so far? Our content framing question in our organized stage is, what's happening in All Quiet on the Western Front? I'm sure there's more that we can learn. Then I want you to share out one experience of the Iron Youth from chapters 1 or 2. Let's move on into our deep dive. So remember I asked you guys, is the Iron Youth a fitting name for Paul and his friends? I want you guys to reread the first full paragraph on page 20 and beginning with Cantrick would say we stood on the threshold of life. Here you're going to find a T-chart. One says younger men, one says older men. Look at the T-chart. According to Paul, how do younger and older men experience the war differently? Younger men stood on the threshold of life. They're taking no root. They are swept away by war or gripped by war or become a wasteland, and they are not sad. But for older men, war is but an interruption, and they can think beyond the war. Again, you're looking at paragraph 20. In paragraph 20, you're going to see this word called threshold. The threshold is the material underneath the door that is part of a doorway, the start of a new plan, action, or event. Choose the definition of threshold that is used in the paragraph and write 1 to 2 sentences that connect Cantrick's saying that stood on the threshold to life to the loss of innocence. Well, that's going to be it for today. If you guys have any questions, please come into office hours. I'll see you soon.